Hi everybody, it's Richard here again and welcome to part 2 of my complete vinyl LP collection. Now, in the last one I stopped at BL, however there's a couple that were misfiled which should have been in the first one, so I'm going to start with those and then we'll carry on with BL again because I didn't get through them all. So the two that were misfiled, and as I said before, this is a warts and all video. And the first one is The Dreadful The World of the Bachelors, which was a hand-me-down from my father, and this is the one with Charmaine and The Sound of Silence. And believe it or not, it was The Bachelors that had the top 10 hit with The Sound of Silence in the UK, not Simon Garfunkel. Another one which is slightly embarrassing is Mr. Akerbilk, and this is the best of Akerbilk and his clarinet and strings, and I only bought this for Strangers on the Shore, which I absolutely love. So getting back to BL, and we have Blondie, and it's the first Blondie album from 1976, and it is a pretty good album, and I think one of my favourite tracks off this is The Attack of the Giant Ants, but Ex Offender is brilliant as well. And then we have Plastic Letters, the one with Denis on it, pretty good album. The Biggie, and its Parallel Lines, with 4 huge hit singles in Hanging on the Telephone, Picture This, Sunday Girl, and Heart of Glass. It's a classic album. Beat to the Beat, which I think is slightly better with Dreaming, Atomic, A Union City Blue, and the brilliant Slow Motion. And then my favourite Blondie album is Auto-American, with the 2 hit singles Rapture and The Tide Is High, but this is so many different styles of music in it, I think it's great. And then The Best of Blondie, which is an absolute essential compilation. If there's any one Blondie album that you need on vinyl, I think it's this one here. It's got all the hit singles. And then The Hunter from 1982, which is not a disaster. It's probably the weakest of the ones since the first album, but it's still got some pretty good songs on it, especially For Your Eyes Only, and the hit single of this was Island of Lost Souls. And then we have Debbie Harry's Cuckoo album. I know it's not B, but I do file away her solo albums with the Blondie collection. And I don't think there was many big hit singles, if any. I think Backfired may have been a single, and The Jam Wasn't Moving, and it was produced by Nile Rodgers. It's not a bad album, it's not brilliant. And then Rockbird, and this is the one with French Kissing in the USA on it, so again, it's not brilliant, it's okay. And we have the Blow Monkeys and Animal Magic, and this is a really good album. And this got into my 1986, I think, or was it 85 list. Very, very good album. And then this is the Best of the Blow Monkeys Choices singles collection, which is excellent. It's got all the hit singles off it. I really love Digging Your Scene. It Doesn't Have to Be This Way, and Wicked Ways. Very good album. The Bluebells Sisters, and side 1 of this is excellent. Side 2 of this is not quite as good. All the hits on side 1, so you get things like I'm Falling, Young at Heart, Kath, Will She Always Be Waiting, and Everybody's Somebody's Fool, which wasn't a single, is very good as well, from 1984. The Best of Blue Mink. Now, these guys change labels all the time, so some tracks are not on this. I don't even think Randy's on. This is the one with Melting Pot on it and Good Morning Freedom, but Randy is my favourite track off it, and I think they were on CB, or actually EMI at the time, and this is Phillips, but it's still not a bad album with Herbie Flowers in it. And then we have Blur, Modern Life Is Rubbish from 1993. An excellent album. I've only recently got this within the past couple of years. It's one of my favourite Blur albums, as is the one after it, Park Life. These are both double albums. Yeah, it's Girls and Boys, Tracy Jacks, End of the Century. By the way, Squeeze do a really good version of that, good live version. Parklife itself and To the End, very, very good album. But I think my favourite Blur album is actually The Great Escape, and this is the one with Country House on it and Stereotypes, The Universal, and the Charmless Man, really good. Mr. Robinson's Quangos, very good as well, as is Best Days, very, very good album. And those are the only 3 Blur albums out on vinyl. Gary U.S. Bonds, On the Line. I can't even remember getting this. I got it within the past 5 years, and must have been an add-on to an order, and I think this is the one that has Bruce Springsteen involved. I'm not sure. I think I played it once. It's okay. And I think I have another Gary U.S. Bonds. Yes, I do. Gary U.S. Bonds and the American Men, Standing in the Line of Fire. And again, this is I think an add-on, and maybe this is the one with Bruce Springsteen. I'm not too sure, but again, I think I played it once or twice, and it's alright. Okay, we're getting into a wreck of Boney M ones now. Boney M and Take the Heat Off Me, and I think this is great. This is the one with Daddy Cool on it. No Woman, No Cry, Sunny, Fever. Really good album. I do like Boney M. Guilty pleasure, of course. And then their second album, Love for Sale, which is the one with Ma Baker on it, and there's another single, Belfast, Still I'm Sad, Plantation Boy is really good. So yeah, I think this is 1977. And then the big one is Night Flight to Venus, which has Rasputin on it, and Painter Man, Rivers of Babylon, Brown Girl in the Ring, and the best ever version of Neil Young's Heart of Gold. And I told you I have a lot of Boney M, Oceans of Fantasy, and they do a really good version of the Beatles' Two of Us on this, and this has got Gotta Go Home on it, and Ribbons of Blue, which is a beautiful little song, Bahama Mama, Let It All Be Music, Elute, and Calendar Song, which is so ridiculously silly. It just goes through the months, and those are all the lyrics there is, but I still love it. And then 20 Golden Greats, The Magic of Boney M, and this is a necessity. It really is. This is as important nearly as ABBA Gold for me. And then I can never get the news right on this, Newness, I think. And this is possibly their best album, and it's one that didn't do too well. It has absolutely beautiful Malika on it, which I absolutely adore. Breakaway, Jimmy, Sad Movies, and this is all sort of blends into one, and it's a pretty long album, so it's nearly best served on CD. And then we have the Boney M, the Christmas album, which is okay. It's got Mary's Boy Child on it and Little Drummer Boy, Zion's Daughter. It's a good album. And then we get into the dodgy Boney M albums, 10,000 Light Years, and it's okay. I think the lineup had changed. Yeah, Bobby Farrell, I don't think, was no longer with them, even though he never sung anyway, but still it looks weird without him. But nothing off this was hits, but it's okay. And I Dance, which did nothing as well, and again it's okay, but nothing brilliant. And I think Bobby Farrell came back for this, don't know why, but he did. So carrying on, we have the Boomtown Rats and their debut album, excellent debut album from 1977. The Boomtown Rats again, and Tonic for the Troops, another fantastic album, and this one's from 1978. Boomtown Rats again, The Fine Art of Surfacing, another really good album, and this is the one with Diamond Smiles, Someone's Looking at You, and I Don't Like Mondays. Excellent album. And then it went a bit tits up for them, because the next one, Mondo Bongo, wasn't as good, although it does have Banana Republic and The Elephant's Graveyard. It's not a fantastic album, and this is the one produced by Tony Visconti. The next one is Five Deep, and yeah, again a couple of hit singles, House on Fire, Never in a Million Years, but it's not brilliant. And Then we have In the Long Grass, and this has got Tonight on it, Drag Me Down, and Dave and Hold On of Me, which are the 4 singles, and they didn't do very well at all. And then this one came out just before the pandemic, and it's Citizens of Boomtown. And yeah, I played this a couple of times. It's alright. I never liked the single Trash Glam Baby, but the rest of the album is actually quite good. I need to give this another spin. And Bob Geldof. And what's this one called? The Vegetarians of Love. And I bought it for the Song of Indifference, which I always like. It's the one with the fiddle in it, but the rest of the album's not up to much. Bow Wow Wow, shown this a million times. See Jungle. See Jungle, go join your gang, yeah. City all over, go ape crazy. And then the one with the reissue cover. And then we have I Want Candy, which is a bit of a compilation. It's got a lot of the tracks from the Your Cassette Pet on it, and it's got I Want Candy as well, Louis Couture's. But yeah, it's a decent album. But you also have another I Want Candy album, which is almost a better compilation, and this has got stuff like Go Wild in the Country, Louis Couture's again, Mile High Club, Jungle Boy. So this takes in stuff from See Jungle as well, and it's a pretty good album. And then Bow Wow Wow's last album, When the Going Gets Tough, the Tough Get Going, and this has got Do You Want to Hold Me on it, as well as Roustabout, which I absolutely love, and What's the Time, Hey Buddy, Lonesome Tonight, Ricky D. Very good album. Right. Brotherhood of Man and Save Your Kisses for Me. And I admit I really do like the Brotherhood of Man singles. Now this is a compilation, and it has Save Your Kisses for Me, the 1976 Eurovision winner, but it also has Angelo, which is a complete rip-off of Fernando. Oh Boy, the Mood I'm In, I absolutely love, and Figaro's on this as well. I do like it. It's a pretty good album. It's all I need of the Brotherhood of Man. Bash, Billy Bremner, and this is his solo album from 1984, and he was the guitarist with Rockpile, and I think the only sort of single off this was Loud Music in Cars, but again, it's not a bad album. And we go into another guilty pleasure of mine, and Bucks Fizz and their debut album with Piece of the Action, Making Your Mind Up, the 1981 Eurovision winner, and One of Those Nights. And their second album with the 2 #1 hit singles, My Camera Never Lies and The Land of Make Believe, also has Now Those Days Are Gone, which is a beautiful song. This album is called Are You Ready? The next one is Hand Cut, with the singles Run For Your Life and If You Can't Stand the Heat, but it also has the song I'd Like to Say I Love You, which I absolutely adore that track. And then we have the greatest hits with 3 new tracks: Oh Suzanne, which wasn't a single, London Town, which didn't do that well, and Rules of the Game, which is absolutely brilliant. Then in '84 they released I Hear Talk, which is an okay album, but it's a little bit dated. I Hear Talk was a single, as was Golden Days, but the big hit off this was Talking in Your Sleep. And then we have Writings on the Wall with the new member Shelley Preston, who replaced Jay Aston. Now this is on Polydor, but one of the tracks, or maybe 2 of them, were originally released on RCA. For example, You and Your Heart So Blue, which does feature on this, but on CD releases, reissues, it doesn't. But it's not a brilliant album at all, although You and Your Heart So Blue is one of the best ever songs. It was written by Pete Sinfield of King Crimson. And then we have a late 80s compilation, which is pretty good, The Story So Far, but I think this is on one of the cheap labels. It doesn't say, but there's a mountain of tracks, 18 of them, so the sound quality is not great. And then we have a Bucks Fizz live album from, I'm not too sure when this was, I think it was released in 1990 or something, but it's actually very good. It's got Heart of Stone on it, which Cher covered, because these guys did it before Cher, but this is a recent purchase and I think it's actually pretty good. Then we have The Fizz and Smoke and Mirrors, and this is a very recent one which I haven't yet played, so I will be playing this because I only got this a few weeks back and I forgot to show it on one of my inboxes. And one I did show actually was this one by The Fizz, and it's Everything Under the Sun, and this is a really good album, and it has a cover of Paul McCartney's This One. And a few more. The Buggles, The Age of Plastic with Video Killed the Radio Star on it, and it's not a bad album, although Video Killed the Radio Star is the highlight for me. The Buzzcocks and Love Bites, again this is not a bad album as well, and I'm not too Ever Fall in Love is actually the single off this, but the Buzzcocks is the one. This is the one I got in the 80s, and it is singles Going Steady, and this is really good, especially side one with all the A sides. And my favourite Buzzcocks track is Love You More. So that's BL to the end of the B's, so the next one will be the C's. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to have that one quite soon. All the best now. Bye bye.